I just wanted to share my experience with this in case anyone else is considering it, because this is one of those speakers I kept reaching for when I wanted something loud enough for a small get-together, but still easy to move from room to room or take outside. At a basic level, this is a portable Bluetooth speaker that is meant for people who actually play music out loud with other people around. I use it when I am cooking, when I am cleaning, when I have friends over, and when I am outside on a patio or near a pool. If you mostly listen at a desk, or you want something you can toss in a small bag every day, this is probably more speaker than you need. It is not small, and you feel that the moment you pick it up. What makes it different for me is that it feels like it was built for real life. It can get loud without falling apart. It handles being around water, and it does not act fragile. I am not gentle with portable speakers. They get moved around, they get set down on rough surfaces, and they get used outdoors where dust and moisture are normal. This one has held up. The first thing you notice is the shape and the fabric wrap. It is basically a big cylinder with a tough woven material around most of it. It feels grippy, and it does not pick up fingerprints the way glossy plastic does. On the ends, you have those big passive radiator sections. When you play bass-heavy music, you can actually see them moving. It is kind of distracting in a fun way, but it also tells you the speaker is working. I have also found that those ends take the little bumps pretty well when it gets nudged on a table. There are rubberized buttons on the top for the main controls. They are easy to find by touch, even when I am not looking at the speaker. I can pause, skip, and adjust volume without thinking too much. The power button and Bluetooth button are also right there. The buttons feel firm and they have held up to being pressed with wet hands. On the back, there is a flap that seals over the ports. I like that the flap feels substantial because it gives me more confidence around water. Under there, you get a wired audio input, a way to charge another device from the speaker, and the power input. One thing I still find annoying in daily life is that charging this speaker means bringing the power adapter. I cannot just plug in a random cable and top it off from whatever charger is nearby. If you travel a lot, that is something you will notice. Carrying it is straightforward. There are metal loops where you can clip on the shoulder strap. I use the strap when I am walking it out to the backyard, or when I am carrying food and drinks at the same time. The speaker is heavy enough that I do not really want it bouncing around in a backpack. It is portable, but it is not light. You are going to feel it after a while if you carry it one-handed. Setup is easy in real life. I held the Bluetooth button, I found it on my phone, and it connected quickly. It also reconnects reliably after that. I have used it with a phone and a tablet, and it generally goes back to the last device without a fight. Range has been fine for me in a house and outside. I can walk into the next room or step out onto the patio, and it usually stays connected. If I push it too far, like leaving my phone inside and walking deep into the yard, it will start to cut out. That feels normal for Bluetooth. Day-to-day use is simple. I turn it on, hit play, and it does what I expect. The volume has enough room to adjust gently at low levels, which matters when I am listening late at night. Some speakers jump from quiet to too loud too fast. This one lets me set a comfortable background level without much effort. Sound is the whole point, and this is where I have the most notes from using it in different situations. The bass is strong, but it is not the only thing you hear. Vocals stay clear enough that I can follow podcasts and acoustic tracks without that muffled feeling. With pop, hip-hop, and electronic music, it has that physical low end you expect from a speaker this size, but it does not completely drown out the rest of the mix. What I pay attention to most is what happens when I turn it up. A lot of portable speakers sound fine until you push volume, then the treble gets sharp or the bass starts to smear. With this one, it stays fairly controlled at higher volume. I still hear detail in cymbals and guitars, and vocals do not collapse into a harsh mess. It is not a studio monitor, and it is not trying to be. It just sounds consistent, which is what I want when people are talking and moving around and the speaker needs to fill space. I tested it in a living room, a kitchen, a small backyard hangout, and near a pool. Indoors, it is almost too much if you are in a small room. Outdoors is where it makes more sense, because open air eats bass and overall loudness. Out there, It still sounds full enough that the music does not feel thin. It also throws sound wide enough that people spread out can still hear it without standing right in front of the speaker. Water resistance has been legit in my use. I have had it around splashes and wet surfaces, and I have not worried about it. I do not baby it if it gets a few drops on it. I still make sure the port flap is sealed because that is the whole point. After being around water, I wipe it down and let it dry. The fabric dries reasonably well, but it can stay damp for a bit if it really gets soaked. Battery life has been good enough for real days. I have used it for long afternoons outside and not had it die on me. I do not track it minute by minute. I just know I can charge it, take it out for the day, and it usually makes it through. If I am blasting it at high volume the whole time, it drains faster, which is expected. The fact that it can also charge a phone in a pinch has helped me once or twice, but that also pulls from the speaker battery, so I treat it like an emergency feature. There is an app that supports it, and I have used it mostly for basic management and pairing features. The main practical feature for me is connecting multiple compatible speakers. I have tried pairing two for a stereo-style setup, and it was fun for a larger space. I would not call it essential, but it works. Most of the time I run a single speaker because it is simpler. Limitations are mostly about size and charging. You need to be okay with the weight and the bulk. You also need to be okay with bringing the dedicated charger instead of using a common charging cable. Another small thing is that the fabric can hold onto dust and lint if you set it down in certain places, so I end up brushing it off occasionally. None of that is a deal breaker for how I use it, but it is worth saying out loud. Overall, after living with it, I think the JBL Xtreme 2 makes sense for someone like me who wants one speaker that can handle indoor and outdoor use, can get loud without sounding messy, and can survive being treated like a portable object instead of a fragile gadget. It is not the most convenient to pack, and charging is not as flexible as I would like, but day to day it has been reliable and easy to enjoy. If you have any questions about how it behaves in a specific situation, leave a comment and I will try to help. If this video was useful, subscribe to the channel for more reviews like this. Thank you for watching.